Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Christianity and President Obama. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Today, Mr. Obama met with Pope Francis at the Vatican, and there's some good news and bad news for the president. First, the good news. He and the Pope agree on social justice.
I was grateful to have the opportunity to speak with him about the responsibilities that we all share to care for the least of these, the poor, the excluded.
Christian doctrine demands that the poor and oppressed be given relief by those who can do so. Therefore, the president's social justice philosophy is in line with that of Pope Francis. The nuance here is how to provide social justice. The president believing you take from the affluent in business and you give without any strings to those in need. Others, like myself, believe you set up safety nets to help the poor, but you do it without harming the general population. Also, you provide social justice by building a strong nation which can then afford its citizens more opportunity. Fair and widespread opportunity equals social justice. Confiscating wealth does not. I just don't know where Pope Francis stands on the politics of social justice. What I do know is that he's a compassionate man who's trying to uphold the teachings of Jesus. Now, the bad news for Mr. Obama. The Vatican put forth that the president's policy of forcing Catholic nuns and other church agencies to provide birth control insurance, including the morning after pill, considered an abortion device by the church, is a violation of Christian doctrine and a violation of religious rights. The Pope did not say that directly to the president, but his representatives did. Remember, the Pope is a consensus builder, but make no mistake, the Vatican believes President Obama is harming American Catholics and other Christians by forcing them to buy something that violates their religious beliefs. In addition, Christian doctrine demands that life be respected. Therefore, abortion is considered a grave sin because Christians believe life begins at conception. That's very straightforward and stands opposed to President Obama's policies. Finally, the Pope is against America deporting illegal aliens, something President Obama has done. Therein lies an interesting conundrum for conservatives. The president has been very aggressive in deporting people who have come to America illegally, which the right generally supports. Pope Francis does not like that policy, believing it disrupts families and harms the poor. So there you have the meeting in Rome today. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction. Joining us from Washington, Dr. Robert Moynihan, the editor-in-chief of Inside the Vatican magazine, who knows Pope Francis personally. First of all, have I defined the situation today accurately, Doctor?
You've defined it accurately, but you haven't defined it completely.
All right, fill in the blanks.
Well, each of these men today was seeking something, and they both received it. But we still have a long story rolling it forward to see what comes out of it. They say all roads lead to Rome, and President Obama took the road to Rome as he did before in 2009. And he tried to get a photo opportunity with a large smile with the Pope who's become known as the Pope of the Poor, the authentic Pope, and the Pope who shoots straight. The Pope received Obama because he receives everyone. There were two parts of the meeting, and the first part was 52 minutes, and it went a little bit longer than expected. It might have been a meeting within protocol 20 or 30 minutes, so perhaps double the time. And perhaps part of the reason was that there were two interpreters there, but we don't really know the details of that. The second part of the meeting was Obama went to speak with two top Vatican officials. One is the Secretary of State of the Vatican named Pietro Parolin, who had been a diplomat throughout his life and had been a nuncio or an ambassador of the Vatican in Venezuela most recently. And next to him was a man named Dominique Mamberti, who's the foreign minister of the Vatican. And they had another meeting, and it was in that meeting that the Vatican put forward its worries and concerns about the Pope, about what Obama is doing in compelling Catholics to go along.
In the birth control insurance deal. Now, let me stop you there. Very, very concisely, what did Pope Francis want out of this meeting?
Pope Francis wanted to communicate to Obama his concern about an enormous danger and gap between people who are suffering in barrios and getting to the 26th or 27th of the month and they're running out of funds and they're short. In other words, a greater inequity, a greater gap between the wealthy and the poor.
All right. So he wanted to express his concern for the poor, but you know, President Obama is on that page. Now, what did the president want out of the meeting?
The president wanted a shoring up of his image. Now, I also should mention that there was no doubt a discussion of Syria and I'm sure of Ukraine. And so there was geopolitical concerns, and there's a desire in the end to have some kind of a compromise and not have a world war.
Sure, that's always the Vatican's position. I remember reporting on the Iraq War when it started, and Pope John Paul was against that. And I put forth that, listen, you had Saddam Hussein murdering people at a frightening level, and you know, what is the Pope going to do? You're going to pray that he gets deposed, but somebody's going to have to do it. So that's always been an issue. Now, I want to ask you one more question. You saw John Kerry sitting on the couch there in the meeting, the Secretary of State. He's a Catholic. He's a pro-choice man. I've always told these politicians who say, and this is always the line, as you know, I'm personally opposed to abortion because I'm Catholic, but in public policy, I'm going to carry out the law of the land, Roe v. Wade, and not oppose. But my thing is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that as a Catholic and as a Christian, you are compelled to protect life. You can't delineate, okay, public policy from you. You have to protect, outwardly protect it. Am I wrong on that?
No, you're absolutely correct.
All right, so it's a charade when they make this rationalization. Now, I wonder if the Pope or any of his guys pulled Kerry aside and said, you know what, this is the deal. You're compelled, because his whole career, John Kerry, as senator, has been very ardently pro-choice. I'll give you the last word.
Well, there's a certain phrase in Scripture, strong delusion, and in some ways it's covered the elites of our entire society, where we've taken positions that are without precedent, and among them is this position on abortion, free and unrestricted abortion. The church was fighting in the 1980s against the Soviet Empire, and John Paul II took a turn in the 90s, and he started to fight against what he called the culture of death. And that was a culture which is continuing to be with us, and there's two or three phrases they use now today to say there's a kind of a Promethean neo-Pelagianism, which is animating the secular humanists.
The secular progressives and humanists, you bet. Well, I appreciate it, Doctor. It was a fascinating day today, and thanks for coming on the program. Next on The Rundown, Charles.